You click, you surf, you wait. If you've ever found that your internet doesn't seem to be as fast as it usually is, there may be a reason for that. Some say the huge surge in downloading games, movies, and other large files is why. Tonight, we take a look at bandwidth hogs and why they may someday end up costing you more for your internet service. We head to the internet for just about everything.
Looking up the news, different things, a little shopping.
I use Facebook to communicate with my friends.
Music, games, anything.
But do you ever notice that sometimes the web seems to be creeping along at a snail's pace?
After 6 o'clock, I notice it can be pretty slow at times, sometimes on the weekends.
Well, the reason for the slowdown might mean that you have a bandwidth hog in your neighborhood.
Bandwidth hogs, I've never even heard of it.
You may never have heard of them, but at one time or another, your internet speed may have been affected because of one.
That's when people will download music and movies, really large files, gigabytes of files at the same time, and they are slowing down the internet for everybody in the neighborhood.
Robert Siciliano is an internet security expert. He says the explosion of file sharing sites like LimeWire, BearShare, and Kazaa, which let you download music, games, DVD quality movies, and other large files, have made downloading more popular, helping to bog down the bandwidth available for the rest of us.
There's nothing illegal about being a bandwidth hog, but ultimately you can be penalized for doing it.
Just give me what I know is mine.
Putting limits on bandwidth is a trend it seems all internet service providers are at least taking a look at. Last month, Comcast announced a 250 gigabyte limit each month for customers. If you go over after receiving warnings, your service could be canceled. But to reach that limit, you'd have to send 50 million plain text emails, download approximately 62,500 songs, 125 standard definition movies, or upload 25,000 high-res photos. AT&T, the country's largest internet service provider, recently said it would start testing limits on bandwidth use for its customers as well. And customers who exceed the limit may end up paying $1 per extra gigabyte used.
This is a new thrust by these providers that's really, it's worth debating and stepping carefully into this, into the ground.
Putting limits on what people can do online, since the internet isn't owned by anyone, is seen as a problem for some. Mark Crovella is a professor of computer science at Boston University who has studied internet measurement for 10 years.
All the measurements show that the internet performance in the U.S. on the whole is extremely good, and it's been getting better year after year after year.
He believes internet traffic isn't the issue with bandwidth hogs, it's the cost.
Providers have to pay based on the amount of traffic that they send into the rest of the network. Their costs depend on how much traffic gets sent. So they have an incentive to throttle the folks who are, as I said, using a disproportionately large share.
Those considered to be using more than their share is small. Some say less than 5% of internet users. But some internet service providers are exploring their options with tiered pricing for internet service. Similar to a cell phone plan, the more you use, the more you pay, as a way to fight back against the hogs.
I want it all. I want it all.
Basically, when you download stuff, it slows down.
So for all you hogs out there, you may want to wean yourself some from your web downloading habits.
If there are more and more bandwidth hogs out there, then eventually we're going to get billed for what they do.
And locally, Comcast tells us they continually review a number of pricing options, including consumption billing, but have no immediate plans to change the way they charge customers. And do you know a bandwidth hog? Tell us about it. MyFoxBoston.com and click on Special Reports.